I invite you to tune into your breath. You can close your eyes or not, whatever works for you. Follow your breath in and follow it out. And what I would like you to do is imagine that you are opening to connect directly to Source. Whatever that means for you, God, Goddess, the universe, the all that is, councils of light, the angels. But imagine you are connecting directly to Source. No intermediaries, no interpreters needed. Breathing in that connection, breathing it all the way through, inviting that connection to anchor to your heart, to the core of your beingness. And imagine with every breath you are breathing it in so that connection gets clearer and stronger. And it is not pulling you out of your body, quite the reverse. It is anchoring you ever more deeply through your body, connecting through the earth as well as out into the universe and the cosmos. As you claim all of who you are, and you don't have to figure any of that out, you don't have to have anyone's permission to be everything that you are. Every breath filling you with peace, with calm, aligning you so that literally everything just falls into place effortlessly. There is nothing you have to be or do to claim all of who you are, to connect to Source. And as you're breathing in, what Connie refers to as godlike, imagine that it is igniting your heart. And that with every breath, you are more and more of who you truly are. Letting go of any judgments that you've ever placed on yourself, letting go of any old limiting belief systems or paradigms, or the notion that somehow you need to do something to deserve to be the amazing being that you are. And as you literally flow into, through this river of peace, connected to the earth and the core of the earth, and the gold in the earth, the gold that's in you, that's being lit up, and connecting to Source. Imagine you are more aligned than you have ever been with the truth of your beingness, and claiming the beacon of light that you are. And imagine that you are literally bringing all of that into the room. So that when you open your eyes, if your eyes have been closed, there's a rarefied sense of what you see, of what you hear, of what you smell. As you claim your ability to activate on all levels, to be everything that you are, to be the multidimensional being that you came here to be, with ease, with flow, with light. So you are a beacon of light, of peace, of flow, and of joy. And imagine as you open your eyes that that's what you're seeing around you, as well as what you are shining to the people that you look at and that you see. Cosmic reset, trusting transformation. Well, what does it mean to have a cosmic reset? First of all, we would like to dispel any old notions that a reset is going back to zero, is starting from nothing. We would encourage you rather to imagine that, as Debbie Lynn Grace was speaking to us a few weeks ago, that we keep expanding. And I like to think of it as expanding rather than leveling up, because leveling up, for me at least, seems very hierarchical and linear. And that part of what I believe that we are beginning to move into is beyond that linearity and the notion of hierarchies. Who's above who, who's better, who's worse, who's winning, who's losing, that we've been caught in those polarities. And so imagine that as you keep expanding, you're creating a new threshold from which to expand. And so in that respect, you are rediscovering, reclaiming who you are, who you're capable of being. All right, then why is it a cosmic reset? Part of what I've been moved to investigate is the whole move from the Piscean age into the age of Aquarius. And as much as we would love with our linear thinking to know, okay, so now exactly what dates and what time are we making that shift? And then voila, we are in the age of Aquarius, end of story. You may have noticed the world doesn't operate that way. That it is a process of evolving, a process of transformation that is truly unique for each individual in one aspect. And that in studying even various astrologers and different sources that do talk about the age of Aquarius being in process, the song Aquarius from Hair, that the Fifth Dimension also made very popular in the 60s. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust abounding. No more falsehoods or derision. Golden living. Dreams of visions, mystic crystal revelations, and the mind's true liberation. If that's where we're headed, well, where are we coming from? The Earth actually is moving backwards through the astrological systems, which is why we are coming out of the Piscean age and going into the age of Aquarius. The Piscean age was very much attached to ego, and one thing that I read, to be or not to be, but the whole notion of existence, but needing a hierarchy, needing to know, to have someone to follow. Many of the world's great religions formed in the Piscean age, which basically started to take around what we know as the birth of Christ. And so that whole notion of hierarchy, of who do we need to follow, who has the answers, what religion, what political party, what ideology must we follow? Aquarius is turning all of that on its head. Where the Piscean age operated so much from a masculine hierarchy, the age of Aquarius is much more feminine in its orientation. It's connected to spiritual, the emotional, to social connection, to interconnectedness. And there is a reason that it is connected to the age of technology and information, because of ways that it puts us in touch with each other across the world. And ways that we have of really making connection. Now, can that be completely overwhelming? Oh, yes, absolutely. And for those who are looking for, but what's the right answer? What's the one great truth that I must follow, that everyone must follow? Which is what's caused so many wars, right? Who's right? Who's wrong? Who's winning? Who's losing? And while we're not pretending that everything is equal, it's not. We would want to remind you there are many paths. There are many ways through. There are many ways to claim everything that you are. And what if that's the search? That we're looking for how the divine feminine and the divine masculine can balance each other, but not in those old ways of balancing that we've been thought of. Okay, between the divine feminine and the divine masculine, what's that one point that if we just balance precariously as long as we possibly can, then we'll be okay? It's much more like the yin yang or the infinity symbol. It's flowing in and out. What if they flow in and out of each other? Our belief is that that's what the dimensions are as well. That what if our journey of expansiveness isn't about leaving the third dimension so that we can finally just get beyond it and operate in other dimensions? And if you're ready to leave your body, perfect, fine, great, if that's what works for you. And truly, many people are leaving their bodies at this time because the shifts are so big. But my belief is that this expansion doesn't have to cause us to leave our bodies. I believe truly with all of my being that we are multidimensional beings operating in many dimensions at the same time. And the more we embrace that multidimensionality, the more all of these different aspects of ourselves can not only inform, but illuminate each other. We have the opportunity truly to completely redefine what does it mean to be human? It doesn't have to feel like punishment or something we've been relegated to until we can somehow get beyond it. What if being human is this glorious gift? We get to feel, we get to discover, we get to see a new sunrise and marvel at it. And not just go, well, yeah, another spectacular sunrise, next. It doesn't mean we forget all of the other spectacular sunrises. It simply means that we appreciate how unique this one is. Imagine bringing that same gift, that same expansive perspective to everyone you meet. To the notion that they are gift. And they are a gift for you. To whatever extent you are moved to connect with them. All connections are not equal. You will spend more time with some people than others because there's no time to spend equal time with everyone in the world that you possibly run into. Have you noticed? But imagine bringing that perspective to everyone you encounter. What if allowing your heart to open is this not only the safest, but the most empowering thing you could possibly do? And what I like to play with in that regard, and we'll do that in a closing meditation, is we'll play with crystal clear boundaries. And I conceive of the crystal clear boundaries as being porous. So they allow light and support and love in, but they don't allow any negativity to come anywhere close to you. Then it gets recognized for what it is, and it's literally filtered out instantly. But it also doesn't contain your energy or hold it in the way a shield or a wall might. And so I conceive of these as spheres within spheres. So you might have a sphere of crystal clear boundaries that's 3 feet out from you, or another that's 6, another that goes miles out. And you can still shine your light across the planet and out through the universe. So that opening your heart is empowering. Where often I believe we're encouraged to believe, oh, but if I open my heart, well, does that mean I'm responsible for everybody and all of his second cousins? No, I don't think so.
You did that.
That you can have compassion and even empathy without displacing yourself. And without taking on anyone else's energy. For in truth, while we may feel like, but that's the good Christian thing to do, just take on all of their suffering so they don't have to feel it. We believe the problem with that is, then how did they get to learn the lessons that they came here to learn? If you're just taking it all on. And so in a way, don't believe that that's honoring of them and their journey, or of you and your journey. What if shining the magnificent light of your heart jettisons this cosmic reset? Assist you in being more of who you are, more of who you came here to be, more of who you are capable of being. As this beacon of love, of light, of peace, of joy. Part of what is happening, and you may have noticed that, okay, well, if the Age of Aquarius is all this wonderful stuff, then why is there so much turmoil? What's the story there? Well, partly because of resistance to that. Resistance to change. Because if we've been encouraged to think, oh no, I know who I am now, just leave me the hell alone, please. I just figured this out and it took me decades to get here. We're always evolving, we're always changing, whether we like it or not, we are always changing. And one of my versions of that is, if every 7 years all of our cells are dying off and being reborn, what is this thing about decay that we're so trapped in with the collective consciousness? And in our advertising, oh, you're that old? Well, if you don't have this pain and this pain and this pain yet, you are going to. We promise, just wait for it. But there are people who defy that all the time. What if those cells are being regenerated in healthier ways all the time? The way I like to talk about it is I'm 71, going on 35, headed for 150. So how may we reconceive of who we are, of what it means to be human, of what it means to connect with others in ways that are remarkably healthy because our boundaries are clear and healthy. And that we can stand in support of others, even as we shine our own light, and knowing that taking care of ourselves and shining our light is the best gift we could give to anyone around us, the best gift we could give to those that we love. Not shutting that down, not making ourselves smaller or less than because, well, I don't want to tell people that things are going great for me because, they're having problems and I don't want them to feel bad. So I'm sure I can come up with something in my life that's not working. What is that? So that I feel a part of the team, that we're in this suffering together. Okay. Is that really the game you want to play and win? But how many people do? Oh, you think you've got problems. Let me tell you my problems. Is that the game we want to win? And it's not about trying to deny that there are problems, there are issues, there are challenges. Absolutely. And yes, it's useful to share those as well. But what if we share the best of who we are? What if we share the best things that have happened to us as well as the challenges? For I believe we get what we focus on. If we focus on pain, we'll find pain. One of my favorite examples of that is I do energy work, and I do energy work remotely as well as in person, and was working with a friend of mine in California. She had a headache. We've done lots of energy work before. So worked on her headache for a minute or two, said, okay, what do you notice now? She said, well, my right knee. I said, oh, wait, hold on. Uh, uh, how's your head? What about your headache? Oh, well, that's gone. But my right knee. So I believe that the message she was giving her body was, you want my attention? Give me pain. Because the second it's gone, I won't notice. And I think, to me at least, that's a very funny thing about pain. That when it's there, it just feels like it's going to go on forever. And I think that that's part of what leads people to depression and suicide, is feeling like they're in this moment, and this moment is filled with pain, and or they cannot imagine it ever changing. But then when pain is gone, it can be hard to, yeah, where was that pain? What was it exactly? Unless it's something that you hold on to. You know, if you ever met anyone who was like, oh, yeah, I always have headaches. Like, oh, my headache's gone. What's wrong? Because we tend to trust what's familiar. We have a tendency, I believe, to define ourselves by what we are used to. So how do we raise that bar or expand into another level that moves us beyond those limitations, those fear-based beliefs that have held us back, that have held us prisoner for a long time? How may we move into both claiming our own individuality and our connectedness with others, not one or the other, but what can we bring to the table that's going to elevate the group, that's going to elevate the conversation? Even the notion of elevate is perhaps too late for someone like me who keeps looking at, okay, so how do we break out of this linearity when so much of it is ensconced in our language? And language is powerful. The words we choose. And even learning different languages that capture different essences. My favorite example of that is the Eskimos have 15, 20 different words for snow. The Navajo have one word for cold and snow, because their experiences are so different. And if we're connected directly to source and don't need an interpreter, and if we remember that we can't have anyone else's answers, how might that open us to connect with people from where they're at and to strive to understand their language? Oh, that's an interesting word. Boy, that word's a big trigger for me, but what does it mean to you? Because for me, it triggers this stuff, but that's my baggage. What does it mean to you? How may we release ourselves from the tyranny of expectations that don't allow us to be fully in the moment, that don't allow us to really receive what's there because we're in our heads extrapolating or thinking about the next thing that we need to say, rather than simply being present and listening? And so what would you want? What would you choose for a cosmic reset to look like, feel like? And it takes a lot of trust. Partly why there is so much turmoil in the world right now, I believe, is because so many people are trying to hold on to what was, and to lock in polarity. For example, I truly believe that Hamas attacked when it did because Israel and Saudi Arabia were beginning to communicate in authentic ways. And that their terrorist action helped reinforce that old polarization and distrust. And how much of what we see, even in the political partisanship, is this distrust, is many people trying to hold on to what they are familiar with. Protect our children, pretend it's the 1950s. Our children know nothing about sex. Why would they? Don't expose them to it until they're 25. Then maybe it's okay. But how much of that is trying to protect our children from who they are? And a lot of the children coming in, you may have noticed, are coming in brilliantly, remembering who they are as souls, as soul beings, with a wisdom and a knowingness, and being born to parents who are not going to shut that down and not go, well, you're just a kid, what do you know? I'm the parent. Let's stamp that out right away. It's scary. Big shifts. Shifts in consciousness can be scary because it is opening to the unknown. And for a lot of people, that's like, oh my gosh, things are going so well. I'm really scared. Why? Oh, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Because if it's this good, it's gotta swing back to be just as bad. I don't believe that's true, personally. My response to that generally is, what if the other shoe is even better than the shoe? Opening to the possibility. And I don't believe that's just me being Pollyanna, although certainly I am. I do tend to be relentlessly optimistic. And for me, that's been one of my greatest safety nets. And so part of what I invite you to look at today is the universe is changing, the world is changing. Where do you choose to put your energy? What do you choose to connect to? What inspires you? What enlightens you? What makes you lighter? What helps you be more playful? What brings you joy? What if you live more and more from that threshold? And no, what if that's not irresponsible? What if it's the most responsible thing you could possibly do is bring more joy? And what if that's an enormous gift? Bringing the joy that you are, the light that you are, for you are an amazing light. Breathing that in, bringing that in to every conversation, to every interchange, to every meeting. As you let go of, how do we get this right? Not that there aren't lists or things that need to be fulfilled and accomplished. Of course there are. But what energy do you want that to take place in? And with and through? What if you open to breathe and flow? So much of my work begins with breath. For so many reasons. Because breath brings us into the present moment. You can only breathe this breath. You can't stockpile them. Hey, I'm going to breathe really hard today, and then I won't have to breathe for the rest of the week. Probably doesn't work that way. And yet most of us tend to not really breathe fully, to not really allow that breath to refresh us, to cleanse us, and allow the exhale to literally release and let go of what no longer serves us. And so breath is also a great reminder, not only to be in the present moment, but that we're in flow, we are in process, always. And when we're afraid of that, When we try to pretend that we're not, that we're fixed, then I believe we shorten our breath, we lock ourselves in, we make ourselves smaller to fit into some box. Whether it's a box that our parents created because they wanted to keep us safe, a box that society creates. As long as you stay in your box, you don't ask, don't tell. You can be gay, but for God's sake, don't tell anyone or act on it. And then we're fine with you. As long as you totally shut yourself down. What if we refuse to do that? And you can see that a lot of people are refusing to do that. To be defined by old boxes, by old definitions, by old belief systems, by old paradigms. I believe that we are systems of cross-reference. And that there's so much value that each one of us has from living the experience of who we are. If we are the sum total of that and those interactions, how can that open the world to us even more? And how can it also remind us we have things to learn from every person we encounter? Even if it's to go, well, that's not really what I believe, but it's interesting to hear why you believe that. And it's not my place to judge that for you. Even if it's not my truth. Do you have questions or comments? I'm covering lots of territory. And you can see why trusting transformation is a part of the title of this talk. Because if we trust transformation, we can expand into it. We can play with it, we can work with it and through it. If we don't, we have to just be careful because, well, what if I make a wrong step? Well, what constitutes a wrong step? If it's all learning and you're paying attention, you're in the present, going, oh, no, maybe that's not the step I want to take. Let's move back a couple of spaces. I think I really rather move this direction. We get to choose. And that is one of the glorious things I believe it is to be human. We get to choose. And if the only choice we're given is, well, as long as you have free will, you get to choose, as long as you choose this. If this is the path you choose, then you're a good person. Otherwise, I'm sorry, you're just damned for all time, no matter what good works you do. I don't believe that, personally. So part of this is an invitation to look at your own beliefs. It isn't to try and match mine by any stretch of the imagination, because I'm pretty far out there for a lot of people, you may have noticed. But as you keep exploring what's true for you, what gifts you have, what gold you bring into the room, by being who you are, not by controlling or shutting that down or editing it, but simply by being the amazing soul that you are. What a gift. And then I ask for questions and you give your room to ask any. Or to make comments. Any feedback you have, I would love to hear, whether you're online or you're in the room.
Well, I would like to say, and this is the neatest thing. I have a very favorite friend in the room right now. Her name's Lydia. And Lydia is a very involved soul. So if you get a chance to talk to her, please speak to her. But age is so irrelevant at our stages. I mean, it's like, I'm in this constant learning. You think you read when I looked at my books one day and thought, I should know everything. What's the matter with me? But it's so cool because when I talk to each one of you, there's this little tweak of something that I learned from it. Elise and I were in a conversation and it just was the same conversation. And so it's fascinating how all of this just keeps raising and like you said, the word expansion, I think I'm using that word more now than I ever have in my life of expanding. You know, we're just expanding in consciousness constantly all the time. If we choose, I mean, we, again, like you spoke, we don't need to go either way we want to, but it is so fun when we're doing it. That's the part I love. There is a question I have though for you. You talked about we change every day. I know we break down. What's with the chin hairs? I don't get this. I am now, you know, at this age, I should not be. You can have them. I don't want them, but it's just me. But anyway,
Just
yeah.
something to attend to.
Yes,
Barb,
something
that's all.
to, I know.
Just want
Just.
to see if you're paying attention, that's all.
Is that it's okay. So anyway, but I, you know, watching you, watching where you're going in the world right now, experiencing what I'm feeling in my life, knowing what most of you are doing in your lives is just so magnificent. And that's why I love our centers so much, because you're with people that push you, make you think. Choose, you and I talked the other day, change your thinking, change your life. I mean, how huge are those words? So.
And Julie has a question online. Do we have to be clear about what we are trying to transfer to, or just that we are open to transferring? One of the phrases that for me becomes a guiding principle is I open to receive information and to shine my light, always in service to the highest and greatest good for myself and the highest and greatest good for all. And so, Julie, that really is my answer, is not trying to be so specific about what we're transferring to, except their dedication to light, to love, to expansiveness, to really being open to receive support for me, provided it comes in service to the highest and greatest good for all. I hope that's a useful response. Other questions?
Michael, I have one. I have one. First of all, thank you. It was really beautiful and very expansive to listen to what you were saying. It was really gorgeous. It is gorgeous and liberating. So here's my question. How do you integrate the concept of karma into what you're talking about?
That's a great question, David. Thank you. For me, the notion of karma, as we keep expanding, is something that we can play with and explore, but not necessarily be limited or defined by. How can we literally move beyond karma so that we don't feel like, okay, well, how many terrible lifetimes did I have that I'm still paying for? And do my good lifetimes outbalance the, to me, that still traps us in a kind of polarity and trying to hold on. And that I believe truly that we can have the ability, if we trust it and know it deeply enough, to go in and shift the Akashic records. And to really make sure, if we wish, that we've learned lessons that we needed to learn from lifetimes when we were Attila the Hun or but that we are no longer, I don't believe we any longer have to be defined by that. I feel like we can expand beyond that notion personally. Because I think that that whole notion of karma has been, it's not that it's not been a useful paradigm, but to me, it is still a limited paradigm that tends to polarize. And that is kind of checks and balances and a weighing of scales and a weighing of souls. And how might we breathe and expand beyond that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a lot to muse on. And I guess
Other questions or comments? Okay, then why don't we wrap up with another guided meditation? And I invite you to close your eyes or not. Whatever works for you is perfect. And if in the middle of the meditation you feel moved to open your eyes or close them, that's perfect as well. And I invite you to focus on your breathing. And imagine inviting the breath in. And allowing it to completely release. And inviting the next breath in at your own time. And as you exhale, truly letting it all go. We tend to not fully exhale. But if you do, you have literally created more space for the next breath to rush in. And what if every breath connects you to source, whatever that means to you, to God, to God light, to Goddess, to the universe, to the all that is, the Christ consciousness, to angel. And any pain or stress or tension you may be noticing, imagine you're sending breath and light there and giving it permission to release. What if simply noticing it gives it permission to release? And so it is as if with every breath you are filling up with light, with life, with fresh possibilities. Imagine you're sending roots into the earth through your ankles and through your feet, this incredible root system. But the earth is supporting you. The way she supports trees and flowers, and the deeper your roots grow, the easier it is for you to expand. The way a tree does. And with every breath, this phenomenal root system. Notice that the earth is supporting you, but also know that your roots are supporting the earth, just as a tree's roots help prevent erosion. That too is this symbiosis, is this interconnected relationship. And imagine unwinding through your ankles, through your calves, through your knees, releasing any tension in the knees, unleashing your ability to move in different directions, unwinding through your thighs and through your hips, releasing any clamping through your hips, like pouring through your pelvis, claiming your ability to move forward, grounded and empowered. Imagine a grounding cord at the base of your spine, your connection to the center of the earth. That may be very fine, like a thread or a laser beam, could be huge. Like the trunk of a tree or a waterfall. Could be as big as this room or this building. Imagine grounding this entire room. Imagine grounding this entire building. And now imagine you're taking off a helmet, you're taking off a hood. You are opening the crown of your head. to allow source, to allow the light of your soul, of your soul's essence, of your heart, God light, to pour in even more clearly, even more fully, releasing any tension through your forehead, through your temples. That light is pouring in, and it's literally awakening new parts of your brain, firing across new synapses, parts of the brain that have been dormant that are awakening, assisting you in opening to new possibilities, literally new patterns of thought, like pouring through your optic nerve, unleashing your ability to see a number of different levels, to see from a number of different perspectives as easily as putting on different colored lenses, like pouring through your ear canals, unleashing your ability to hear on a multitude of levels. And that isn't overwhelming because it's as simple as fine-tuning the radio dial. And that literally shifting the radio dial reminds you, oh yeah, there are other stations. There are other points of view. There are other ways of listening. Like pouring through your nasal cavities, like pouring through the roof of your mouth, through your teeth and your gums, healing, cleansing, updating. As part of a cosmic reset, the universe supporting you, the earth supporting you in claiming all of who you are. And there is no need to figure that out, for indeed figuring it out can only limit it, can only hold you back from opening to new possibilities, new conceptions of who you are capable of being, of who you are becoming. Light pouring through your jaw, releasing any tension in the jaw and through your throat and the back of your neck, releasing off of your brainstem any old, outmoded energies that no longer serve your highest and greatest good, that no longer serve who you are becoming. And that light of your soul, that soul's essence, that God light is igniting your spine. All the way through, as if the crown of your head and your tailbone are floating away from each other. There's a vertebra and a space of air and a vertebra and a space of air. So there's literally more breathing space with every breath you take, not from effort, not from pushing anything, but from releasing and allowing. And that light is pouring through your entire skeleton, cleansing your bones, cleansing your bone marrow, strengthening your bones. That light is pouring through your tendons and ligaments and oiling every joint. So your tendons and ligaments release any inflammation, calm down, and assist the bones in connecting. And like pouring through your musculature, your muscles getting longer and stronger with every breath, releasing any lactic acid, like pouring through your blood and plasma, oxygenating your blood and plasma, cleansing your blood and plasma, opening flow and ease through your veins and through your arteries, clearing any vestige of blockages, easily, effortlessly, dissolving any platelets that have been forming, dissolving any blockage. As this oxygenated blood and plasma cleanses, clarifies, revitalizes. And that amazing oxygenated blood and plasma is revitalizing every organ being cleansed, healed, updated, reminded. It knows how to function optimally. It's what it was designed for. So your lungs breathe deep and rich and full, and your heart is beating strong and clear and steady, and your kidneys and liver are doing their cleansing thing easily, effortlessly. Every organ remembering, it knows how to function optimally. It remembers, that's what it was designed for. And beyond that, it remembers the ability that it has to support the other organs and to receive support from the other organs. You are a masterpiece of interconnectedness and collaboration. simply by virtue of being who you are. As these systems of cross-reference and intercommunication support each other, like pouring through your connective tissue, dissolving any trauma that's been caught in the connective tissue, any old belief systems that have held you back, that have kept you from breathing fully, that have kept you from expanding, that have kept you from really claiming who you truly are. You are not your trauma. They may be frames of reference, that's fine, but you don't need to clutch them. You don't need to hold them. You do not need to define yourself by them any longer as they dissolve out of your energetic system. Like pouring through your skin, cleansing, clarifying your skin. Like pouring through all of your energetic systems, realigning through all of your systems and all of your structures, like pouring through every cell. Your cells being cleansed, being healed, being realigned for radiant health, like pouring through your molecular system, every molecule being cleansed, healed, rarefied, revitalized, like pouring through your atomic system, every atom, through your particle system, through your DNA structures. By your very nature, you are systems of cross-reference. It's not that one of those is right and the others are wrong, or that one is better than the others. They inform each other, they support each other, they illuminate each other. And as light's pouring through your DNA, we would invite you to notice it is not just the double helix of your DNA we're so familiar with that is lighting up. Other strands that have been cloaked, that have been hidden, are being activated. Some people say there are 12 strands, some 16, some 144. It does not matter. Just imagine that in divine timing, so it is not going to overload or overwhelm your system, but unfolding in divine timing, more strands of DNA are being unveiled, for they have always been there. They're being uncloaked. They are activated to assist you in claiming the cosmic, multidimensional being that you are. And imagine that there is help from the universe, however you want to configure that. Send out a call for help from the universe, whether you call that God, Goddess, Source, the all that is, angels, the Menahuni, whatever works for you. We would invite you to open to the possibility that there is help out there. You are not in this alone. And asking those helpers to surround you with love and light, and to assist you in having crystal clear boundaries that are porous, and asking them to assist you in magnetizing out of your space any energy that isn't yours, any energy that no longer serves your highest and greatest good, and the highest and greatest good for all. And so, for example, sending love and light to your father, releasing his energy back to him. That is not wishing him any ill will. It is not abandoning him. Quite the reverse. It is freeing him, even as it frees you, to be everything that you can be, as it frees him to be everything that he can be, so the connection between the two of you can be totally up to date, clear, strong, radiant, sending love and light to your mother, releasing her energy back to her. And now those helpers are assisting you in magnetizing out of your space any energy that no longer serves your highest and greatest good. Updating all of those connections. And imagine with every breath now, you're breathing in ease. You are filling up with ease. And as you exhale, you're letting go of anything that is not ease, of anything that is dis-ease. As easily as you let go of carbon dioxide. And with every breath, imagine you're filling up with peace. And letting go of anything that is not peace as you exhale. filling with clarity, filling with love, filling with light. What if you imagine that with every breath you take, you are becoming a beacon of light? What other qualities would you like to shine, to be a beacon of peace, a beacon of radiant health, a beacon of joy, a beacon of playfulness? What qualities do you choose to radiate? And imagine that everyone in this room and online is shining and claiming their own beacon of light, and that you are connecting and radiating light back and forth. We are doing that between each other. We're creating this magnificent grid work of light. And imagine that this grid work of cosmic light, as we claim our multidimensionality, our expansiveness, as we claim all of who we are, is interfacing with greater grid works of light across this planet and throughout the universe. And so every breath takes you deeper and assists you in expanding and claiming more and more of who you are with crystal clear boundaries. Imagine living from this threshold. Imagine eating from this threshold. Imagine driving from this threshold, if you're old enough to drive. Imagine reading, writing, being on the computer from this threshold. Imagine the conversations you can have from this threshold. Imagine living from this threshold, trusting the transformation that you are in process. And that's what it means to be alive. And so if your eyes have been closed, as you open them, all that you are bringing into this room. You are shining gloriously. And that is our wish for you, that you may shine the incredible light that you are throughout this day, this evening, this week, this month, this year, this decade, this millennium. Thank you so much. Namaste.